We are firmly at the end of this series of going through third-party feats and the best classes that they are for. I feel like most of the grammar in that was wrong, but here we are. Today it is finally the turn of the Wizard, perhaps the most beloved class in D&D, certainly by the Wizards of the Coast, unsurprisingly. And irrelevant of your feelings on them, I do think you can get a lot from some of the amazing third-party options out there. Before we do that, I just want to say thank you to my channel members who support me. It is greatly appreciated. I also have a Discord if you would like to join that and discuss other third-party things with us. Today is this, but hopefully the new Kobold Press book will be out on D&D Beyond this week, so I'll be covering that this week as well. And then Thursday will be a build, and then there will probably be a second thing. It's going to be a busy week, but we got this. Also, I had a haircut. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. And it's, for some reason, 10 degrees colder than it was last week, so I am in a checkered shirt, because why not? Anyway, to the video. In a shocking twist of fate, the first feat is the Origin feat Altered, which is a favourite of mine for spellcasters. It allows you to take multiple options. You can give yourself night vision or boost your night vision. You can gain a natural weapon, which can be very handy with niche and very cool character concepts. You can gain a swim speed if you're playing a water-based campaign, but you don't want to play a water-based species. And the one that I usually end up going for is the natural armor, which gives you an AC of 13, and then you can either have your dex or your con modifier on top of that. The reason I like this one so much for wizards is it allows you to effectively ditch your dex in favor of a secondary stat being con and still have a good AC. You can take this, for example, and have a 16 AC as long as you have 3 in your con, which you should have, and you don't need to spend any spell slots to do that. I do think that's worth giving up a feat, an origin feat for, and if you're feeling especially spicy, you can always take human or the half-orc from exploring Eberron anyway. This feat itself is from the Crooked Moon setting, which has a really solid mix of origin feats. So yeah, the next one also from Crooked Moon is Cult Initiate. This gives you 2 cantrips of your choice from the Warlock spell list, one of which has to be Eldritch Blast. It doesn't have to be Eldritch Blast, but let's be honest, if you're taking this and you're not choosing Eldritch Blast, you do sort of have to wonder what you're doing. It also gives you a level 1 spell from the Warlock spell list. You can choose whatever you want, which you always have prepared. You can cast it once for free, and then whenever you want after that. You get this once for free, once per short or long rest as well, making it a handy little boost to a wizard's spellcasting ability if you're in a campaign with a lot of different combat encounters over a given adventuring day. Fate Gambler is also from the Crooked Moon. This allows you to gain heroic inspiration a lot more often. You can get it whenever you reduce a creature to 0 hit points, when a creature fails a saving throw you forced it to make, or if you succeed on an ability check against a creature. This is going to happen a lot as a wizard. If you're casting something like Toll the Dead, for example, you could theoretically get it nearly every turn, and you can then use your bonus action to convert a heroic inspiration to a number of temp health equal to your level. Wizards can be squishy, to say the least, and bonus actions can sometimes be a bit of a dead zone for the wizards, which means that this is not only a great way to get more health, but also a really solid thing to do with your bonus action as well. On to the general feats now, and we have a new pet feat of mine from Dr. Drolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs. You do need to be level 12 for this one, at least, and have the spellcasting feature, which is why it's on the wizard one. It allows you to boost your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, up to 20. As an action, you can effectively enchant an item of your choice. You can give a weapon an extra d6 of damage for any type that your spells can deal for a minute. For armor, you can give resistance to a damage type that your spells can deal. For a wondrous item, you can give advantage on saving throws or checks to end or prevent a condition of your choice. The last one is super niche and highly unlikely to be the one that you go for, but the cool thing is that all 3 of these also get better when you hit level 16, and I love a scaling feature. For the weapon, you get to then add your proficiency bonus to the damage that you're dealing, that the damage the person is dealing with the weapon, which can be a really good bit of damage boost. I think it's 5 off the top of my head, right? So you're dealing an average of an extra 8.5 per hit, which is good. That's like 2 and a bit hunter's marks worth of damage per hit, which is fantastic. For armor, you can gain a second resistance, and for wanderance, you can gain a second condition advantage and whatnot. Basically, it's just a fantastic feat, and I think it fits especially well into, honestly, artificers, but this wasn't when I made my artificer list, but I do think it fits perfectly with wizards and just any of the spellcasting classes, really. So definitely consider this one. It is worth noting that this does not have to be an item that you are using. That's why it is so good. You can walk up to your fighter and go, hey, have some free damage. Nobody's going to say no to that. Next is Coven Witch from Obojima, Tales from the Tall Grass. I really hope we get the 2024 update for this soon. I'd love to include more of the feats from the book on my list, but I cannot, so here we are. This one lets you boost your intelligence or wisdom by 1 up to a maximum of 20. You learn 2 random common or uncommon potion recipes from your coven. You have to be a member of a witch's coven for this, so it is RP focused, but it's thematic if you're going for that. And you also learn 2 level 1 spells of your choice, which must be from divination, conjuration, or transmutation schools of magic. You can cast each of those without a spell slot once, and you regain the use of the ability to cast them when you finish a long rest. And obviously you can also use your own spell slots too. 2 spells is pretty tasty. 2 free spells can be a big help, and while level 1 spells aren't the best, you could theoretically use this to bolster out some of the more niche spells that you might not want to have prepared normally, but that can be game altering when they are the correct thing to do. Forest Sage is one of my favorites as well. I think I've said that for a lot. I feel like I just like D&D and third-party stuff a lot. Here we are. This one's from the Humblewood Tales book. This is Forest Sage. This is a must-have on druids, as it boosts your intelligence or wisdom and gives you ability to either use your intelligence or wisdom to make animal handling, arcana, nature, or survival checks. Along with that, you can learn 2 spells from either the druid or wizard spell list. Theoretically, you could actually use this to give yourself another 2 wizard spells, but that's a bit weird. But it gives you the ability to gain things like plant growth and other more potent druid spells that you might not have access to normally. Even grabbing something like Healing Word on a wizard could be an absolute game changer, so this is definitely one that you want to consider. From the adorable and fluffy Humblewood to the less adorable and less fluffy Grim Hollow, Lightning Caster is my next choice. It lets you boost your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. It allows you to, if you target a creature, a single creature with a cantrip, as your action, use your bonus action to target another creature with the same cantrip, which can be amazing if you run out of resources, and at higher levels can put out some pretty impressive damage when you start getting the extra d6s or d12s or anything else to your cantrips. Along with that though, when you cast a spell as a reaction, you can choose not to expend a spell slot on it once per long rest, effectively giving you a free casting of something like Shield or Silvery Barbs, or even Accelerate Decelerate actually. And given that you can scale up Accelerate Decelerate, that might make this one of the most efficient ways to get an extra 9th level spell, which is impressive. I hadn't thought about that before. That's kind of a banger. Yeah, sorry, I've distracted myself with how good that is. Being able to cast that without a spell slot also means you can do it on the same turn that you cast a different spell. So you could accelerate, decelerate, and attack. It's just good stuff. I'm here for it. Yeah, good feature. Also from Grim Hollow is the Sangromantic Initiate. This one does not come with a stat boost, and I think it should. So if you're watching this and you're a DM, I would say that you should allow this to boost a spellcasting stat, or potentially con, given the nature of the blood magic. This lets you choose a Sangromancy spell from any spell list for whatever level which you have spell slots. You always have that spell prepared. You can cast it once for free, as is the usual way of these things, and you get that back in a long rest, or you can cast it with a spell slot. You also get 2 d12s you can use instead of your hit dice to cast Sangromancy spells, making this a much needed power boost for a lot of the Sangromancy spells for any dedicated blood magic user. And finally for this series, Swift Witchcraft is also from the Crooked Moon. This allows you to boost your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, and it allows you to use an action to cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 minute, but you can only do that once per long rest. Aside from pairing very well with the Obojima one, if you're going for a more witchy vibe, and it really makes me want to build a witch-themed wizard, and I might do that. This week is a potion-themed wizard on Thursday, so that's something to look forward to. It's just cool. We like being able to do stuff like this, and while I don't think it's the best of the ones I've listed here today, and I do think that there are times in which being able to use an action instead of a minute could be the absolute difference between victory and defeat, and that is important in D&D, as it turns out. But that is it. We have finally reached the end of this, and while I've enjoyed doing it, it will be nice to do other things. I will be, after next week, which is Dungeon Jam, I will be switching the builds, I think, to Monday and changing up the way I'm doing them, which you'll see as of Thursday, I'm changing the way in which I talk about numbers and trying to put a bit more thought, not a bit more thought, but a bit more time into how the character will actually play at various levels as well. And I'll also be going back to multi-classing, as I've been doing straight class builds for a while. And it'll be nice to, take 2 levels of fighter with everything again, as God intended. But if you have enjoyed this, and I do hope you have, please like and subscribe. We are creeping up there slowly with the subscribers. It's lovely to see. As I said, you're welcome to join the Discord. It's just a cold and dark and chill place, like a Dark Souls painting. And there's no other vibe I would want to have. But that's it. I hope you're well. I hope you continue to do well. I hope that you take care of yourself and you have a good week ahead of you. You'll be seeing a lot of me this week. So thank you in advance. Do take care of yourself, and goodbye.